It is time for your WIN podcast for super busy professionals sharing transformational moments. Your host, Chu Tang.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Your WIN podcast. Today, I have a very special guest with me, Mark. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you.
Mark, would you share a scene in your life that transformed you forever with the audience?
Okay. It's kind of an unusual experience in a number of ways, but when I was a young child, I think like all children, kind of having questions about life itself, spirituality, the universe, were kind of the basic questions that I think we come into the world with. But I had kind of a very transformative experience. I was 14 years old, and it was a rainy Sunday afternoon, and I went to my wrestling practice at the Jewish Community Center, where I wrestled at a lot. And I lived in Baltimore and Pimlico area, right at Pimlico Racetrack, which is a big center where I lived on one corner of it, and the place I was going to was the other corner. And I walked there. It was a couple-mile walk, and I would walk there, but it was raining that day. And my mother gave me 35 cents to buy a loaf of bread on the way home. And that's all the money I had. So when I was coming home in the rain, I had a choice of taking a bus, and my mother would have totally understood taking a bus to not get drenched in the rain. And I didn't get the bread because of that. And I decided to be a good kid and walk in the rain. And so I walked the first leg of the trip, bought the bread, and then I'm going down the next leg of the trip, and I'm on the sidewalk, in the middle of a row of houses, nothing to look out for, should have been very safe. And all of a sudden I hear a crash, and I'm flying through the air. And I heard a voice as I'm flying through the air, and I don't know where it came from, inside or outside, but it was like a voice, a very strong voice in my head. And it said, "This is not an accident. This is to teach you, pay attention." And I fell on the ground. And it turned out I was hit by a car that was out of control. It would have been like a scene in the movie where the car actually, it was a stolen car driven by people who I didn't see, because I didn't see the car before or after. It came from my backside and hit me. And then when I fell, it crashed into two houses in the house there. And then I came down and couldn't see what happened. And it seemed very precise. I was hit, and it fractured my thigh bone. No internal injuries. I had to be in the hospital for 10 weeks, laid up in traction. But I felt like there was a purpose to that. I felt like there was something. It wasn't an accident. I felt like there was something I was going to learn through that experience, that instead of kind of going away from it or trying not to feel what was going on, I really went in and observed all the things going on inside of me. When you hear a sound, a crashing sound like that, and you've hurt badly, your alarm system in your body, anytime you hear something similar to that sound, the alarm system goes off, an uncontrollable sympathetic reaction, fight or flight. And so I would hear a sound. Like one time I heard I was in traction in the hospital, and the phone rang next to me, and I jumped and was trying to like run. And cranking the bones are cranking around inside. And fortunately, it was just a shock. But I went in and felt everything, and then when I was recovering and I would hear a car engine, I would panic and run to back. If I was crossing the street with friends, I would run back to the where I came from, and they would continue crossing. And I had no control, and I I somehow knew that I could beat myself up. I could, try to scream at myself, call myself stupid or something like that, and get upset. But I realized that I could feel that there was part of my brain that was now wired to that sound happened, protect me from getting hurt. That was his job.
Oh.
And so instead of being hard on myself, I would stop when I got control. I would close my eyes and I would talk to that part of my brain, and I would say, thank you, thank you. I know you're trying to help me. I know you don't want me to get hurt, but I'm at this moment, I'm not being hurt. I'm okay. And I would cross the street, and then it would happen again and again, and it got softer each time. And I started doing that when I got sick. I would go in and feel the sensations. If something happened to me emotionally, I'd be dedicated to feel that. And then what I realized over time was that I was learning meditation, because that is it. And I turned out that it got me into everything that I did in my life. I became a dentist and treating facial pain, head and neck pain, not doing traditional dental stuff, but working with people with headache and jaw problems. And then I started teaching meditation, and I founded the program at Stanford and that you took in Esalen, the program. Love Yourself for Everyone Else's Sake, that you took.
Yes, that's the title.
And that's the title of a book that I just released, which is about the things I teach in that weekend program. And it became a center in my life of trusting what happens, that there's a purpose in everything. And it's actually a rule it's one of the few things in life that hasn't failed me. I mean, if I can really bring myself to experience what's going on, always something that comes out of it that's healing or teaches me, or something that gives me something to share with other people.
Yeah.
So it kind of sounds crazy, and I look back at it and I think, well, was it real? Was it true? Am I fooling myself? Because, now it's just a memory of that happening. But at the time, all I can say is that voice seemed very loud and clear to me as I was flying through the air. And I've had other experiences similar to that I would, I'm not psychic, or I don't know what's happening in the future, but I've had a lot of guidance in my life to bring me to things and kind of not, I would call it, out of the ordinary experiences that I can't create, but they've happened over periods in my life. And so I believe, not just for me, but I believe everybody has a destiny, a purpose in life.
Yes.
And that if they really bring themselves to experience what's happening in their lives in this moment, that they're on their path. And so I that's what I teach is, coming into the present moment, feeling what's going on, experientially open to whatever's happening in life, and to trust it, and bring the skills that you want to develop in your life to that. And it's gotten me through a lot of challenges in my life.
No, thank you, Mark. I still remember you taught us to say, when something bad happened to us, instead of say, oh, S, say, oh, good.
Yes, that's right. The OS mantra.
I said, oh, good. Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing this story. And for the listener, I think, would you share your contact, and I'll post it on the podcast so they could reach out to you?
Yeah, and also maybe a link to the book on Amazon. That would be nice.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah.
Can have it, dive more into that, and especially. So what I see is that when people take care of themselves, when they heal their challenges and their hurts in life, that the first thing that they want to do is share that with other people and help other people. And so it's never, your own healing is never just for yourself. It's altruistic, and that's why that title love yourself for everyone else's sake.
Oh, for everyone's sake, yes, yes, yes. And would you give us some details about your upcoming class also?
Well, for the week of New Year's, I'm doing a 7-day meditation retreat at Stanford. We do that every year, where I'll be booked for the next 2 years. And then in March, I think it is, or I forget the date. It could be as late as over the summer. We're going to do the same class that you did again.
Oh, okay.
A weekend class, so they can look at that at Esalen Institute, and actually you can maybe get the link to that class, which is, the one coming up is probably not enough time for people to
yeah, because I remember they sold out very quickly. Yeah.
I don't know, this was the last minute that they booked this last minute, so it wasn't as and it's kind of in the middle of the week because of where New Year's falls. So I'm not. There's probably still spaces open in it.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. If you don't mind sharing the link with me, and then I'll post it. Yeah, that'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mark, because I know you're very busy. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you for what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sick of all this negativity, in the news and all that. So, as an individual, if we could, inspire people, that would be awesome. Yeah.
We need to realize that I think the brain is we've evolved a very tribal nature of our brain, and we look for people who look like us. They must be in our tribe, and whether it's the sports team or what school you went to, it could be little things like that. Your religion, your country, your race, you're a male, a female, young or old. That we create. It's so easy to separate and create a tribe that eliminates our unity. And I think that if we recognize that we're all one tribe, including all the beings and animals and plants on the earth, this amazing planet we live on. And that we realize that, we're all need to contribute to each other's health and happiness. And obviously with big issues like climate change and wars and all the ways that we've hurt each other, that we need to start really, recognizing that and coming together. But ultimately, it starts within yourself. If you're not angry, if you're being kind to yourself, if you're feeling love, you couldn't possibly hurt other people, and you feel unity in the world. So it really, what I think a lot is happening when you see this in the news and you see what's going on, is that people use people's hurts and angers to get them to react, and that creates unkind actions in the world, and splitting up and separating. And so ultimately it's healing within yourself, which is, it's what we're here for. It's the challenge we're here to face.
Yep. Thank you so much. Yeah, I feel really calm when I took your class. And then I didn't realize I have to love myself first.
I'll tell you, that was a great weekend. I felt, I have to say, after that weekend, I was the happiest I've been any time in my life. It was a great group. It was amazing because when you do, I had gotten used to doing longer programs there. And so, like, I'm going to be doing 7 days of meditation in the New Year's. And in a weekend, you get there Friday night, you settle in. Saturday, you're really doing the program. And Sunday, you're kind of doing a little bit, but you're, wrapping things up. It's amazing how much healing there was in that weekend.
I mean, I went with my best friend, and I was shocked that there were a lot of professional, busy people, and they were very hard on themselves, including myself.
I had to say, I was high from it. I mean, I was ecstatic. after.
No, you're teaching, you transform us.
Well, it's also, I'm a student at the same time. It's the only way I can teach is I have to get into the practice itself and become a student while I'm teaching. So
Yeah,
I'm
even the
working on myself
walking,
as I do that.
even the mindfulness walking, I still remember we all mindfully walking
Right.
on the campus. Yeah. So thank you so much. Thank you
You're
so much.
welcome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Take care.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share. See you soon at Your Win Podcast.